Welcome to the Valve Studio. I haven't made much progress on my height machine because it's cold here in Colorado right now, and the shop doors leak like crazy, so it doesn't really help to heat this room. I think it's probably about 38 degrees out here, so I can wear a coat and I don't mind wearing a hat, but my hands get cold and I can't do much work. But I did spend a couple of days doing some electrical work in here, and I'll tell you about what I ended up doing for that, and then I'll kind of give you a brief update of what's next. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this thing here. This is called an iSocket. This is a little sensor box that turns on my shop vac for my dust collection system whenever something's plugged into the top outlet. And then the bottom one, you just leave your shop vac on the whole time. And then when you click on your power tool, the shop vac turns on by itself. So I got this at Amazon for like 30 bucks. I did end up making a modification to it. Say I want to run the shop vac separately. There's no way to kind of bypass this switch. So I ended up putting the switch on the bottom that bypasses the internal relay. So if I want to just use the shop vac to do, pick up stuff off the floor, that kind of thing. So this works fine. Future project is I'm going to rework this and use something else that's a little bit more intelligent than what this is. But I'll go ahead and talk about the electrical work that I ended up doing. So you can see I got my shop vac over there, and I'll eventually run some PVC tubing up along the ceiling here, and then have drop ports over my workbench. But for electrical standpoint, I wanted to have electrical drops. You can kind of see these things dangling from the ceiling, and so I put some half-inch conduit up here, and I have a bunch of electrical drops for my power tools, like palm sanders and that kind of thing. And then you can kind of see that there's two, like right here. There's a short one and a long one. So I ended up routing additional wire up, additional leg of the hot lead over to my distribution point over here. And whenever you plug in something to the short one, it'll go through this iSocket, but the long ones are always powered. So we'll take you over there and show you kind of ended up what I did there. And then I ended up doing some tricky things over here. I'll show you those as well. Here's the end of this half-inch conduit coming over here, and I have a 2-gang box over here, and I just have it plugged into the regular outlet down here. This is a whole 15-amp circuit, and I have the iSocket in here. This goes to my shop vac, and then this is the bypass switch. So if I want to run the shop vac now, I can just click this on, and it runs the shop vac because the shop vac is in the on position all the time. So this runs along the wall, it runs above the shop door, it comes along over here, and then I'll go ahead and show you what I got going over here between the shop door rails. So it comes along above the shop door, and then I go into this box that's got 2 inputs and a single output. Well, it's got 1 input and 2 outputs. I run down the wall, and then where I put in a single gang outlet, the top one, these are actually split circuits. I don't know if you knew this or not, but if you were to look at one of these outlets, there's a little breakaway tab right here, and if you flex that off with some pliers, you can have these 2 circuits be completely independent of each other. So on outlets that I have, they're plugged into this. The top one is always live, the bottom one is sensed, and down here, this is a 4-prong locking, twist lock, and I'm going to have an umbilical cord that runs over to my bench, and then I'll have ground, neutral, hot, and then hot sense coming off of this connector here, and then I can run my bench over there and then have both hot and sense wires on my bench. And then from here, it runs back up and it runs along the ceiling, and then I have some metal single gang boxes up there, and I just put like a cable clamp on the end of that cover, and then I bought a bunch of these 2-foot extension cords. I got these at my little town here has got a Harbor Freight equivalent, and these are pretty nice. I got them for about 80 cents a piece, and they have LEDs in there to tell me that they're powered, so that's nice. And then, like I said, anything that's got 2 on it the higher one is the sense one, and the bottom one is always powered. So I have a little orbital sander here, and I got it plugged into the short one, so you'll hear my shop vac turn on over there when I power this guy up. We'll just go ahead and show you that this whole thing works. And I need to get this behind my back so you don't actually hear this, but you can hear the shop vac. So the shop vac works for about 10 seconds after you turn the power off. I'd like that to be a little bit longer, but I'm not going to modify the circuit in that, just keep it as whole, but that is going to be an upcoming project. Like I said at the beginning, I'm going to run some vac lines next, and then hopefully it'll get warmed up in the shop here, and I'll be able to get back to my work on the Hyatt machine. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. This is the Valve Studio.